Interesting game I came across with Tal as black. It's Unzicker versus Tal in 1960, and a slightly odd thing happened actually as I was going through it. So I found it in a book, the Pound Book of Chess, a very old book by Gerald Abrams. Anyway, it's so what happens is white Unzicker plays e4, Tal plays e5, and they get into the Rye Lopez. I'll go quickly through that. So it's fairly standard, and some news. I'm not greatly in favour with the opening, so that's slightly unusual, I believe. Bring the knight back to b8 to reposition it, but anyway, that's repositions the knight. Tal finishes as his white squared bishop, and he's also now going to finish as his black squared bishop, having moved it back from e7. Now, I was looking at this when I was going through it, and I thought, God, it's getting a bit blockaded for white. He's got these fianchetted bishops, but black has, but hasn't white started to form a blockade here? So I did, when I was going through it, think that c6 had to be played, but I couldn't quite see what was going to happen. I hadn't got a clue actually. What happens now is Tal takes the pawn, retakes, so we still have the same problem with the blockade, surely. But I hadn't seen this, and he does knight takes d5, a temporary sacrifice, because once the knight is taken, he can release the pawn up there to attack the knight here, and the bishop attacks the rook at the same time. He's opened all sorts of lines for himself as well, which is typical of Tal. He's a great attacking sacrificial player. Anyway, to cut a long story short, knight takes pawn, bishop takes, bishop attacks the queen, whilst the rook attacks the bishop. Respond by attacking the bishop and intercepting the attack on the queen. Bishop retreats, knight takes pawn, rook gobbles up the bishop whilst it can, knight takes the bishop, queen takes. Now here what happens is bishop takes bishop, fair enough, bishop takes pawn, and this is where ChessBase, which I'm going through it on, it's a computer program of games, suddenly did that. And I thought to myself, that's a bit odd, because surely white can go like that, get out of the, alright, so that was theoretically pinned, but now he's got out of it with check, and there's a sort of follow up, because I used ChessBase to, there's a thing on here, you can add an engine to analyse the position, so I should have probably worked it out myself, but basically white is significantly up after that. He can start harrying this king here with things like queen d4. So that was all very odd, and then but then I looked at the book again, because I was sort of going off the computer, not really looking at the book's notes, and in fact it just goes to show that you can't rely upon these things to be right all the time, because he didn't play f5 as it happened. According to the book, he played that, which of course has a much more logical sense to it, because now the same move there, queen takes bishop. So I can actually see why Unzicker resigned in the actual game, and also, of course, I then checked it on a thing called chessgames.com online, and did agree with the Gerald Abrams version. So just a nice little game by Tal, probably worth looking up and playing, and that's it for now. Thanks.